Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Ann Birchard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we are going to make another Christmas card. So here's a shout out to my Aunt Margaret, who thinks it's too soon for Christmas cards. But some of us need to make a lot of Christmas cards, so we need to start early. I'm going to be doing watercoloring. I am not an expert, but I enjoy it because it's so easy to do. I'm going to be using the Freezin Fun cling stamp set, and all the supplies will be listed down below in the description, and easy links to go over to my online store, which is open 24/7. So let's get to making this card. I'm using our watercolor paper, and what I've done is taped it onto just a clipboard so it doesn't warp, it doesn't move, and it's a nice palette for me. So I'm going to start off with my little guy. Now I painted him as a fox because I thought a raccoon with the black and white, it wouldn't show up as much. I'm also using the Versamark Fine ink because it is waterproof. Give it a good stamp. Use my chamois. Let's go in with our big Christmas tree. Chamois. Grab the little tree. Now I cut the watercolor paper to 5.5 by 4.25, but I'm going to be trimming it down just so I can see the background, the Highland Heather cardstock underneath it. There we go. So we're done with our stamping. Now it's coloring. Close this up. And again, this is the Versamark Onyx Black, and it's great for watercoloring. Now I'm going to be using my Aquapen, and if you don't have one, any old brush will do. In fact, this is my daughter's paintbrush. Don't tell her I'm using it. And we're going to start off with just clean water. Get that going. And I'm going to create a square all the way around. You don't want puddles, you just want a nice shine. And I know you can't see it, just wait. Wait till I start adding some color. And I'm going to be using Highland Heather in the background, just to have that winter feel of all the snow around, because that's soon gonna happen. Just paint it in. A little here. I'm concentrating, making sure I've got where I want the purple to flow. And a little bit down here. Okay. I'm going to be using, like I said, Highland Heather for the background. And all I've done is taken one of my clear blocks and smush it. I've created a palette now, so I can pick up the color. Close this, because I'll be putting my hand in it if I don't. Oops. Again, taking the Aquapainter, picking up, and then going back where I laid the color. Gotta work kind of fast because you don't want it to dry before you are done. That's a bit much here. So use a paper towel or a baby wipe and just pick up some of the water. Keep coloring in. If you get it where you don't want it, again, use the paper towel or baby wipe. This looks like a big puddle there. And I'm moving my head around so I can see the shine of the water in the light, and I know you won't be able to see it. And I just painted purple across my tree. So let's pick that up. We can fix that. Like I said, watercolor is forgiving and easy. My two favorite. A bit more color up here. We're good. So what I'm going to do now is clean this off, clean off my brush, and then I'm going to come back and push out that purple where I don't want it, and then dry it. There we go. Okay, speaking of drying, I'm going to head over to my heat tool, and I'm going to heat this so that I can move on to the other part. I'll be right back. Hey, it's nice and dry, so now I'm going to move on to the trees. And what I'm probably going to do is speed this up. I'll just show you the colors that I'm using, put some nice music on so that you're not completely bored. So let's start with the trees, and I'm going to be using Just Jade. Again, just using one of the acrylic blocks, stamp on the pad, and now I have a nice palette to pick up cards. So let's get to coloring our trees. So I'll be using soft suede for the sled. Come in with Cajun Craze for my fox. If you want to make a raccoon, then I think some of the gray granite or smoky slate would do great. Again, create a palette. I'm going to head over and dry this just a bit. I'm going to come back in with the Cajun Craze to make his mask a little bit darker. And his stripes on his little tail. and his ears. Let that be. And then finally come in with his scarf. And I'm going to be using Balmy Blue for his scarf. Create a palette. Nope. Let me go dry that. I've dried it. There is some warping, but that's okay. I can set this aside. I'm using Highland Heather cardstock. I cut it at 5.5. Let's fold it. Get my bone folder. Give it a nice crease. Then I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back. To really pop it up. Oh shoot. I forgot to trim it. Okay, let's trim it. I trim this down to 3 3/4 by 5. I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch off each end. It's stuck. There we go. Now we can add the dimensionals. In fact, you know what? I'm going to use the dimensional strips, because this will give me more coverage than just the dimensionals, and I think I need it on this warping paper. Done. Grab my snips. And one more roach should do it. There you go. Set all of this aside. I'm going to use the Take Your Pick and the pointy end. What's the pointy end called? I forget. It's stuck on me. Well, it's also stuck on. There we go. Okay. I'll make sure this is going in the right way. Yep. Center this. There you go. But we're not done. I need my bling. And we are going to be using the shimmery crystal effects. And I'm going to fill in the snow on the trees. Start here so I don't put my hand in it. Now make sure after you put this on, you let it dry. Don't fuss with it. Just set it aside. And when this dries, it's going to have a pretty crystal effect where it's going to shimmer. And I'm going to get his little pom-pom too. Kind of like snow. Now for his nose, I thought his nose looked plain. So this is just a jelly glaze pen. And I'm going to fill in his nose. Again, we'll let that dry. And there you have it, another Christmas card just for you, Aunt Margaret. I hope you liked this crafting experience with a civil engineer. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Really appreciate all of you who have subscribed. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week.